Planet Vero Studio is powered by the Nolan Group of eXp Realty.
Welcome to Treasure Coast Community Health. We have 8 locations to serve you better. Our staff is dedicated to help you and your family. Here's your host, Vicki Soulé.
Good afternoon and welcome to Community Conversations. It's such a pleasure to be here every week, getting to talk with wonderful people around our community that are doing great things and letting you all in on those events and or activities. So today we're going to do something a little bit different. We're going to split our half hour in two, coincidentally because we have 2 organizations that are doing something in October on the same date and time. So we're going to give them equal time, and you can hear all about the wonderful things that are starting up as we go into the fall. So welcome, Stacy from the United Way.
Thank you. Thank you for having me.
Tell us a little bit about your job and what you'd like to talk to us about.
My position at United Way is I'm Community Impact Coordinator. I have been there for a little over a year. Day of Caring is one of my big events that is coming up. And I also am program coordinator for our volunteer income tax assistance program, VITA. 2
very worthy gatherings of volunteers. So let's talk about the Day of Caring. Now, last year, although we had the same caring people in the community, we were still struggling under the impact of COVID. So we really couldn't come together as a Day of Caring as the community has for how many years?
It has been since 2019 since we've had an official Day of Caring.
Wow.
Yes.
But before that, for years and years and years, the United Way has brought people together to do things that improve or impact our community. So Impact Coordinator is a very apt title.
Yes. This is actually our 27th annual Day of Caring. Not counting the 2 years off. During COVID, during 2020, they actually had it was kind of like an event that you could do at your own home called Chalk Your Walk. And then they also had a calendar of things you could do and take pictures and send in. And last year, we tried to get the project off the ground, and we had another uptick of COVID. So we decided it wouldn't be beneficial to keep going. But we did organize a project at United Way where we assembled 1,000 hygiene kits for homeless teens that we donated to Little Birthday Angels. So we still did something.
Still a community impact.
Yes.
Will that kind of project be available this year as well? Or will you go back to the old format of organizations saying what they need and sending out teams?
Sort of a little bit of both. So organizations and businesses can register for a project of things that they've had on the back burner for a while, or things that they just don't have the manpower or resources to complete. And they will register their projects, tell us what their needs are, and then we will try our best to match them with the appropriate team or volunteers of teams. The United Way is also still doing our own project. We have what we call the big project every year. And this year is early learning kits for the EOC. Yes.
Okay. So that aligns with the Learning Alliance and the whole Moonshot moment then to help bring up the literacy from our youngest students into successful BPKs and kindergartners.
Exactly.
Okay.
The kits are going to have some really fun items in there. We have activity books, coloring books, crayons, flashcards, jump ropes. We have toothbrushes and toothpaste.
Oh, that's wonderful.
And it's all in a nice little bag, a little drawstring backpack that they can carry around. So we're looking forward to having that kit assembly done and giving them out to the community.
So that might be a better volunteer opportunity for someone whose mobility is a little more challenged. I'm assuming it's like table work.
It probably will be table work, just to,
An
down
assembly
the line,
kind of
putting
thing.
everything into a bag. But we have lots of opportunities. So we have projects that range from construction to gardening to planting to mulching, power washing. And then we have the indoor projects, which would be things like organizing a closet or helping to clean out a food pantry, moving one office to another office. And then we have things as simple as writing out greeting cards for the elderly in nursing homes. So it runs the full gamut. So we ask that when people sign up to volunteer, either individually or through a team, that they indicate what type of project they would like. Okay. I want to work outside. I'd like to work inside, or I have mobility issues, or I'm gung-ho and put me in for anything.
Okay. So you mentioned registration. I'm assuming that you would need a registration both as a work team as well as an opportunity place.
Correct. So if you're registering for a project, you would register your project. If you go to the website, let's back up for a second.
Okay, and the website is?
The website is unitedwayirc.org/DOC. On that webpage, you'll see 3 blue buttons. One is for teams, one is for individual volunteers, and one is for projects. Huh. So you'd register your project, but you could also register a team from your organization to work your own project. That typically works for organizations such as our schools, or places where there are a lot of families that participate in the organization, because it gives them a sense of pride and ownership in their own program or organization.
Yeah, and I think we are partners with Dodgertown Elementary, and I think that's all bringing back what I've already heard over the last week or two. Yes. That there are teams that are needed there, including families, teachers, and general community members.
Yes.
To brighten up that campus.
Anybody can volunteer. There's no age limit. If you're 16 and below, we do ask that you have a chaperone or that the parent is with, if it's a younger child. But it is just a truly amazing day where the community comes together and we all help each other out.
And the projects can be anywhere from an hour in duration to maybe 4 or 5. Is that still the case?
We typically like them to run the projects between 9 and 12. Okay. So the morning's going to start off at Vero Beach High School at the Citrus Bowl. We're going to have a big breakfast kickoff. Nice. McDonald's is our sponsor again this year. So
Thank you, McDonald's.
Yes. Free breakfast sandwiches. We do have a new T-shirt design this year, which is not this one. I didn't want to spoil the surprise.
Okay.
But it's very colorful, very nice. And T-shirts are first come, first serve. So we hope to be able to give everyone a T-shirt.
But again, that's probably dependent on the registrations.
Yes.
In terms of number of people expected. When you register, are you asked for the T-shirt size by chance?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, there's a field in there to ask for that. And we don't know. Sometimes people just show up without registering. Sometimes teams don't register all their volunteers. So there's a chance that we may not have accounted for everybody for their T-shirts, but we will do our very best to make sure that everybody gets something.
So what I hear you saying is it's always good if you know for certain that you're making that commitment to do the registration as a volunteer. But if you hear from somebody else, or if you capture a friend at the last moment, that's okay too.
It is. We will take you to come volunteer for us. If you show up that day, we will not say, you didn't register, you can't come in. We'll welcome you with open arms, and we will find something for you to do. Okay,
so at the field, you can pick up your T-shirt, go in the restroom and change if you want, because 2 T-shirts, it's still not cool outside. Pick up your breakfast sandwich, and then they should head to the stadium for the opening address. Is there going to be a speaker?
There will be a guest speaker.
I thought so.
Our guest speaker is Dr. Moore. He's our superintendent for
wonderful.
Indian River School District.
Okay.
We will also have our CEO, Meredith Egan from United Way. She will be there speaking as well. We're going to have some entertainment. We have one of the local fitness centers will be there to do a big morning stretch with us.
Okay.
I believe we might also have Natalie's Juices coming as a sponsor as well.
Very nice.
So a lot of little things are going to be happening. We're going to get everybody pepped up, ready to go, juiced up, McDonald's up, and go out.
That's wonderful. So I'm, thinking of myself in preparation here. What time should people start arriving? Tell us about the parking. Anything else we should know about preparing for that day?
So parking at Vero Beach High School, there's adequate parking at the Citrus Bowl. And I believe that we are going to be starting at 8 sharp.
Okay.
So if we could have everybody start to arrive about 15 minutes early, and there's plenty of room. We are in stadium seating, so they can come on in. And then around 9 o'clock, we'll wrap it up, and the people that are there can go out to their projects. We will start to match volunteers' teams to projects probably next week.
Okay.
And people will get a notification of where they've been assigned to.
Okay. So it's not too late to register for a project. If you're a business owner or a school that has not made the connection yet, they still have a couple more days.
They do.
This week?
There's still some time. Friday, the 23rd of this week is the deadline for project registration. And September 30th is the deadline for volunteer and team registration.
Well, I'm looking forward to it. It's a real feel-good day to get out there and do some things with others that are making an impact. So
absolutely.
Thank you for coming and telling us all about it.
Thank you for having me. It's a pleasure.
So we're going to take a short break and a little intermission for a word from our sponsors. And then we'll come back and we'll talk about another something that's going on that day. October 15th, right? All righty. Thank you, Stace.
Thank you.
Treasure Coast Community Health in-house pharmacies have the lowest prices in Indian River County, even lower than big box pharmacies. Taking your medication as prescribed leads to better health. Affordable medicine makes it easier. Treasure Coast Community Health patients can pick up medicine as they leave the office or use free delivery and mail order services. Pharmacists are always available to answer questions. Switch to TCCH pharmacies. Save money, stay healthy. 772-257-8224 and ask about our price match.
You can trust Sandpiper Pest Control, serving Indian River, St. Lucie, and Brevard. Certified by the state of Florida to treat homes, lawns, and termites. Fully licensed and insured. Priced right, effective, and friendly.
Hi, this is Joel, the owner of Sandpiper Pest Control. Sandpiper can solve your pest issues. No contracts to sign, just results.
Call for a free estimate. 772-589-0204. Sandpiper Pest Control. A member of the iTex trading community. Your iTex dollars are welcome.
I love that I can sit in my car and wait for my appointment to renew my driver's license. No more lines, no hassle. Hey, I made my appointment online and it's going to alert me when it's my turn. Gotta go.
Hello, I'm Carol Jean Jordan, your tax collector here in Indian River County. To help you get in and out faster, we are introducing our new customer service system. Here, you can make appointments, check in remotely, or choose to wait in your car or in our lobbies. You can access this system through our website, irctax.com, and we look forward to seeing you.
Celebrate the 50th anniversary of Riverside Theater this season, featuring Butterflies Are Free, Man of La Mancha, A Comedy of Tenors, 42nd Street, and Honky Tonk Angels. The more you see, the more you save. Receive 20% off with a subscription to all the shows, or buy tickets by the bundle and receive 10% off. See the new season lineup and get tickets online at riversidetheater.com. Celebrate the golden years at Riverside Theater. Something fun for everyone.
And welcome back to Community Conversations. If you're just joining me, my name is Vicki Soule, and I'm the CEO at Treasure Coast Community Health, where we provide primary health care services, whether it be medical, dental, behavioral health, pharmaceuticals, x-ray, labs. We believe in making things accessible, convenient, affordable, and high quality. So to make sure that we have a rounded approach to all those different things, we do a lot of collaboration around the community, including with a number of great nonprofits. And so many of those are featured on this radio program. Today, I've had the privilege, honor, joy of working with Stacy, who's from the United Way, and just told us an awful lot about the Day of Caring that's coming up on October 15th. Now, I did think that we were going to be having someone from the American Cancer Society come in for the second half of the show. she may be here yet, but since Stacy reminded me that they are also the prime lead on VITA, I said, well, why don't you tell us a little bit about that as well? So thank you for staying over, Stacy, and tell us a little bit about that program. There's many people that have moved into Vero or the surrounding area within the last couple of months, so they might not be aware of that ongoing program that the United Way here does.
Okay, I'd be happy to talk about VITA. VITA is my baby. It's something that I feel near and dear to my heart. It's our volunteer income tax assistance program.
It's not an onion?
No. Okay. And actually, I didn't even know what VITA was a year ago when I started at the United Way, and I quickly dove straight into the program and learned all about it and how much it really helps the people in the community. So again, it's a volunteer income tax assistance program. So it's run by volunteers, people like you and me, our friends and neighbors. You don't have to have any specific tax qualification or background to be a VITA volunteer. So there's many ways to get involved. You can be a tax preparer, a greeter, a receptionist, or just a general person that wants to come and help out with the program.
Which makes then the professional services of a tax preparer free.
Correct.
Okay.
So every year the IRS sets a tax bracket or a threshold for the VITA program. Last year it was $58,000, which is a total household income.
Okay.
This year I think it may have gone up to 60. We haven't received that official number yet, but it's usually in that range.
So folks who earn that amount or less are qualified then to avail themselves of this service.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct. And all of our volunteers are IRS trained. Although they don't need to have a tax background, we provide certified IRS training programs for them, and they become a certified tax professional or a certified greeter.
Well, that's good to know.
And we are able to save the public, hundreds of dollars per person. It's the average cost is around $175 to have a professional
really
do your taxes. And a lot of times there are people that do not even get that back in a refund. So they're either paying their refund to have their taxes done, or they are going to be in the negative because they owe and they still have to pay a tax preparer. So the service is vital for the public who fall into that mid to low income bracket to be able to use their tax dollars for themselves and for their family.
Would that be someone that has perhaps a small business that they've started up, or someone who has multiple W-2s? I mean, what's your typical individual that's using the service? Why do they come to the United Way services?
For that very reason, because they can't afford to pay somebody to do their taxes. We make it possible for them to get their child tax income, to get the earned income credit, or any other income credits that they may be eligible for without having to pay money out for that. We do have a what we consider scope and out of scope for VITA. So more difficult taxes, tax returns, and business owners, we would not be able to typically do their tax returns. Okay. It's generally families and individuals in the community.
And so even though the IRS says they've made things much simpler, when I hear things about the child care credit and other things, particularly from our perspective, we see a lot of people now who are using the marketplace insurances, and that's a tax credit-based program. And so I'm assuming that's one of those little complications that people aren't really sure how to handle, but your folks would be.
Yes, we definitely ran into a lot of that last year with Marketplace, also with the stimulus payments that went out over the last 2 years. But the IRS and our tax professionals are well aware of how to handle those issues. Those are questions that we will ask you when you come in to have your taxes done. Do a full intake on everyone to find out whether you are eligible for things or whether you've received things that will affect your tax return.
Okay. So how far in advance do you guys set up your schedule? Is it possible in February to call and get an appointment fairly soon, or are there like rush days?
So right now we are about to really kick off with volunteer recruitment so that we can get our volunteers onboarded and trained and prepared. We typically start to open up for appointments at the second or third week in January. So we try to stay ahead of the game.
Okay.
It has its benefits because, yes, you'll get an appointment early, but a lot of times you have not received all of your documentation and you end up changing your appointment.
Okay.
So that's something that I would ask people to just be like aware of, that have I received all of my 1099s, all of my W-2s, everything that I need before I make my appointment.
Okay. So then, as you pointed out, this is really when you're looking forward to having tax preparers and other folks. I'm assuming that you have some people that really specialize on the intake portion as opposed to the tax return calculations. So if someone was interested in doing that, how would they contact you?
So there's two ways to do that. You can visit our website at unitedwayirc.org/VITA.
Okay.
Or you can call me at the office at 772-567-8900. My extension is 120, and I would be happy to talk to you about VITA all day and what a great program it is and the rewards. We have some long-term volunteers that have been doing this for 12 or more years.
Wow.
Some longer in different places. So it's not like we take a new person off the street, give them this certificate, and throw them into the wolves. We really do take the time to make sure that our volunteers feel comfortable, that they're knowledgeable, and they are ready to help the public.
That's wonderful.
Yes.
So how many people actually used the process last year? Any idea?
Let's see. We had about 2,000 appointments that we scheduled, and just short of that in actual tax returns, which was huge. We had a huge year last year. We could have done much more than that, but we didn't have the capacity to serve that many people. Towards the end, we were actually sending people to other agencies.
So when you talk about not having the capacity, is it space? Is it volunteers? Volunteers. So is there a minimum number of hours that a volunteer would be asked to provide in exchange for the training? I'm trying to get your recruits here.
I appreciate that.
Doesn't have to be a full-time job.
No, it does not. Absolutely not. And we understand that you are volunteering your time for us. So we try to give you every respect and leeway in your own personal life and your schedule. We ask for 4 to 8 hours a week.
Okay.
Our shifts are 4-hour shifts. And we, this past tax season, we operated out of 5 different locations. So it was an operation that ran 6 days a week.
Wow.
I'm not sure what those locations will be this year, how the schedule is going to change, but it'll be similar.
But it sounds like if you're living in a particular area of our county, even though we don't think it's really big, like Brevard is really long.
Yeah.
Nonetheless, if you're on the north side or the south side as your home residence, there's an opportunity for you to actually see people in that area at one of your sites. Possibly?
Hopefully.
Okay.
So last year we had a site in Sebastian, we had 2 in Vero, and we had 2 in Fellsmere.
Okay.
We have been working on relationships to branch out. But again, that all depends on the volunteer base. I would love to open a site at every possible location in the county, but it depends on how many volunteers we can get to staff.
So you've heard it here. We need volunteers for the tax program that will be running again this year through the United Way. Training is available, and short shifts of 4 hours twice a week are welcome. So if you're thinking that maybe you'd have some time and want to give back to the community, get a hold of Stacy or go to the website, which one more time,
UnitedWayIRC.org/VITA. I just forgot my own website.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Stacy. And thanks to all of you for staying with us to the very end, and have a wonderful night.